Hey guys, welcome back. Good to see you. So as you can see, we're kind of doing our thing today. We're fertigating through the pivots. I'll kind of go over that here in a little bit. But first I got a turn up here, so we'll catch you in a sec. Yeah, so today we are what we call fertigating, and it's a combination of fertilizing while irrigating. Fertigation, irrigating. Oh, need a little more braking power. But no, that's what's in the tote behind me. It's a mixture of some nitrogen and sulfur. The idea behind it is to kind of spread out your fertilizer applications, so maybe you don't have to use quite as much. Maybe you could use a small percentage less, just basically making it more efficient, because soil has a certain holding capacity. You can only hold so much up front, and so this is kind of our easier way of doing it. In the hills, it's hard to run applicators and things like that and get it all done in a timely fashion, because sometimes you can get a wet spring, and if we don't get that put on with a tractor, then you kind of can get behind the wheel or get behind the 8-ball and just not be able to get all your fertilizer on, which is not a good thing, because obviously you need fertilizer to get your yields. But this year we actually brought out some more. We actually bought some tanks to put at the wells, so the fertilizer company actually came out and filled those up with trucks. That way we don't have to do this all the time. This is it adds a lot of work to it, having to go back and forth and transport it all during the season. Well, this year we just bring out our pumps, hook them up, and then away they go. And last week we actually had the NRD guy. Every 3 years you have to have each well certified. So none of this will actually drain back into the groundwater. So you got to have them certified legally to do this. And what it is basically a flap. The big thing is it's a flap that keeps this fertilizer from going back down the well. It's a check valve. So we had some of them that were due for re-inspection get done last week. And now we're just going to drive down a narrow road and see what we can find. It's like a big long car wash, really, when you think about it, with no water and no happiness. And your pickup's not clean at the end. It's usually worse. It's times like this I kick myself for not making my road wider. Almost there. Once again, I have not been able to spray around my wells for weeds yet. Every year I say it again and again. I'm going to spray those eventually, maybe, possibly. Once again, if you know more about this electrical stuff than I do, which probably most of you do, you can mark it in the comments below, but I think you call it reversing the polarity or something like that. So things hopefully spin the right way. And when I was doing this, I forgot which one I pulled it out, so I'm 90% sure the X and the Y I had a flip. When I pulled them out, I forgot which one I pulled them out of, but I feel confident. If not, I'll just be doing this again. We don't have accidents here, we just have happy mistakes. Bob Ross. Lately, the plugs I buy for these two, the guy that we bought our new pumps from, and I know they're better plugs because they're weather tight, but they're yellow and they're sealed off. Maybe if I get to another one here, I'll show you it. But this isn't this is one of our Neptune pumps. The new pumps we've got are called Dosatec ones, and they are like half the weight. They've been really nice this year. I don't know about longevity, but just what we've ran of them so far have been working really good. Just because I can throw it on my four-wheeler, it's half the weight. I'm lazy. We go from there. Sorry, you're talking to my chest. Now the next thing, this guy right here is known as a mister valve. So what happens is in this area here, there's a spring loaded. And what he does is when it pumps against that spring, and this chemigation valve, it goes into this hole here. When it hits that, it's gonna create a mist. And it's gonna permeate, or I don't know, it's not permeate, but it'll mix with all that water better, get a better distribution in the water stream. Mixes through the water better, you're gonna get a better coverage throughout your field. You know, when you're fertilizing, you're getting a nice backdrop of water hemp. But it'll get through that water better and just have a better distribution of your fertilizer in your field. I always get the question too, does this burn the corn when you apply it like this? So this well is probably pumping under pressure, like 30 or 40, I don't know what this one is. It's probably pumping 800 gallons of water, and we're putting on probably, actually, I will do the math right here. But say we're putting on 40 gallon to the hour, where this one's pumping 800 gallons a minute. There's not really that much nitrogen mixed into there. So it's not gonna burn these leaves. We've never had to burn the leaves. You'd have to pump a really high rate of this on to match up to this gallonage of this well to create any kind of burn. So no, it does not burn the leaves. Get that question a lot. That's a good question, but no, it doesn't. Right now I'm gonna do the math. I'm gonna try to figure out, this one's a little more, because see there's a pivot point over there, one right here. So this one splits those high line poles. And it's not even a 50-50 split, it's probably like a 60-40 split. So I do the math of how long it takes this one to get around, and then I'll do the other one. So this one's this got 1,000 gallon in here. So this will take 600, this side over here will take 600 gallon. This side over here will take 400 gallon. And then I divide that by how many hours, and then that's what I set this pump at, percentage wise. So this is I believe I should double check. It's an 80 gallon an hour at 100% tank. So hold on, let me figure some stuff out and I'll get back to you, because if you see me do math, it's terrible. Okay, on this side alone, we want to do a 20-hour swing. So 20 hours divided by 60, or 600 gallon divided by 20 was it 30 gallon? Yeah, I think it's 30 gallon. I need to run a pump at 30 gallon an hour. And so I take that 30 gallon an hour, and this is an 80 gallon an hour pump, 30 divided by that 80, which gallon, total gallon. Okay, so I took the 30 gallon that I need and I divided it by that 80 at 100%, and that gave me 37.5%. So hopefully my math's right, because I'm posting this on YouTube. If I don't, I'll double check it when I leave here, but that's what I'm running with. I got to put this mister valve in here because we don't want to pump it all over the ground. Okay, I bleed it out, I kink it, and I put it in. So I'm getting so much fertilizer on my phone. So they make bleeder valve ones, but I find this simple, especially at the high volume, it usually pushes it through. So this thing should be working good. Got a small leak in my gasket there, but it's fine. I'll go set the speed when I get out of here in my pickup. I can set it on my phone for the right speed. Get better service up at the top of the hill. Okay, so that was it for setting this pivot up for fertigation. Like I said, we got multiple units running right now. We're just before tasseling. We got some, you might see one or two tassels waving at the end of each field. So we got a few fields with maybe a tassel here showing. It won't be long. Next week, a lot of this will start showing a lot more tassels. Our gravity's still further behind because we planted it later. But I got a few more pumps to go start on their last turn. My brother's running one. Actually, both brothers are 1 and 1 apiece. And one other one that I'm trying some stuff out on it's some calcium thiosulfate. We got some pivots that we're trying to see if we can fix some water infiltration issues and putting some calcium. It's called CATS. I don't know if it'll work or not, but we thought we would try it, see if it works. So it's one of those things that we like to try anyway. We know a lot of them might be snake oils, but we still like to try a few things to see if there's something out there that can kind of fix some of the issues that we have. But for the most part, we try to keep it simple. Fertilizer, good genetics, water, and usually can hit a pretty decent crop, and we'll see what that brings. But maybe later this afternoon we'll hit some gravity fields here, so see what the rest of the day brings. So I came out to the other field. I got to start one of the other ones. I got to start a pump on, and I noticed the end was kind of getting boogered up. So I opened it up, and I noticed these were kind of all getting corroded, which kind of affirms switching to the more weather tight plugs on these. Unfortunately, like, you're wondering why didn't you just put them on in the first place? Well, they're like 3 or 4 times the cost, but obviously it could pay for itself. So what I'm gonna do is put one of the new ones on now, and I'll show you when it's done. I'm gonna just cut them off there so that's not exposed. Fly biting my leg. Does when you tighten it down, there's a little rubber grommet in there that tightens down too. It's kind of a progressive deal, and then it should be a little more weather tight than what it was before anyway. The only thing to make it purely watertight in the plug area. Oh, what an idiot. Well, I guess you're hanging out on that cord till I break you off with something. While we're in the business of it, I'll put this down and get this one done. Oh, wow. And this is why my wife fell in love with me. Maybe. Then it creates a little bit more watertight seal, a lot better than the other ones. The other ones I would put black tape around the middle part to kind of try to help, but that was almost nearly 50% of the time. We all know how the other 50% usually works.